living in a...
So are you pressured to like go on a date?
3-bedroom.
You want to find
No,
a boyfriend like them?
No, not at all. Only because it's been so long. And it came up on my time hop today, like...
Oh, I use time hop too.
Today, but it came up... Okay, I can hear myself now.
Okay, great.
It came up a couple days ago on my time hop that was like some screenshot of like a guy I went on a date with, and it was a year ago, and I was like, oh, I really don't know how it's been this long, but like I have to do it. So I'm making myself do it.
Are you in like the dating apps? By the way, we're live. Luisa Lange.
Yay!
Hello.
Thanks for having me.
Of course. Continue.
It's so good to be here. Yeah, I was just saying I'm forcing myself to go on a date tonight. I so do not want to. I hate it. I hate everything about dating. And I just want to meet somebody in my life, like fucking normally, the way I feel like it should be done. But it's just not happening. And I'm like, I need to force myself, not even because I want a boyfriend, but because I need to like remind myself that I can still do it.
Do you romanticize like a guy coming to your show and be like, you were really funny, then you DM something like that?
Because maybe in like the beginning when I started doing comedy, but it's like I now at this point, I try to hide the fact that I'm a comedian until they meet me. And then I'm like, oh, by the way, like I also am a comedian. Like I'm not telling this guy that I have a show before. I'm like, oh, I have like a work thing. And then I'll tell him once I meet him. But like guys do not want to date a female comedian. Like they just don't. I don't know.
And like the questions I feel like come out of left field right away. Yeah. Because like once you tell them what you do, it's like all the questions are about comedy, nothing about you growing up or anything like that.
And I have a lot of thoughts on like the dating, like my experience dating and like being a comedian, and just like I think like I don't think a lot of guys don't want a girl who can also like command a room and like has a big personality and has like can like make a room of people laugh. I think it's like threatening, which that won't be the right person for me anyways if they're threatened by that. But it's just like, yeah, I've had a lot of situations like where I've been dating a guy and then it just, the comedy thing, like I feel like is too much for them.
Well, was this particular guy like somebody who met you at a show, or did
no, this was who I'm the person, like one example, I was like seeing this guy for a couple months in 2019, right before COVID. And I had my like I headlined Caroline's in January of 2020. And he like came to that show. It was like the best show ever. I did an hour.
Nice.
It was sold out. It was like the best night of my life. And then he basically ghosted me after. And I was just like, what? Like
on like the spotlight night of your life. That's crazy.
Like why?
You just got self-conscious.
I just think it was too much. I don't know. I think it's a lot. And I think like it's some sort of like, I think there's a lot that goes into it. It could be like a masculinity thing where it's like emasculating to be like dating a girl who's like fucking like loud and saying, I don't know.
Well, I think that it definitely does take a certain person to date a comedian when you're not a comedian.
Yeah.
You have to be okay with your boyfriend or girlfriend or person that you're dating going up on stage talking about exes, talking about some sort of sexual stuff, because it happens in everyone's set. You know, maybe your whole set's not about dating an ex-boyfriend or whatever, but parts will come up just because like it's funny and it's part of life.
Why would you
like
not
a
want
tennis
that?
player? Like I love it. Like I love girls who just like know what they want ultimately, like ambitious females.
I don't know why guys wouldn't want that.
I think it's demasculating, like you said, though.
Yeah.
Like if I were not a comic and I saw my girl go up there, crush it in front of 300 people, she's talking about her exes and whatever, like I have to be so secure in our relationship that I'm not like, oh, is she in the back like talking to those other comics in the green room,
about
like saying weird things?
Yeah, and it's just like I'm not willing to stop doing comedy or like change what I'm doing to make this guy comfortable. And I had like it was like the best set ever. I did an hour. It was like my big thing.
Trippy.
Yeah, I was like, oh my God, this is like going to be my year. And then it was 2020 and I moved home with my parents. So
January 2020.
Yeah,
like,
so
right
I was like,
that.
oh, this is going to be like the best year ever. I was like ready to go. And then I got ghosted. COVID happened, moved in with my parents. And yeah, everything is good now. But I just have had a lot of like, I don't know, issues dating.
Where are you from originally?
I'm from Boston.
Oh, okay. And the last time you went on a date, was it through a dating app, or this particular date is through a dating app as well?
Dating app. Most of the dates I've gone on have been through dating apps.
I haven't been on a date myself in like 2 years.
Yeah. I just was like, oh my God, I can't believe that like I just forgot about it. Because I really don't care. I'm like very happy with my life. I am busy with work. I'm busy with comedy. I have a ton of like friends in the city to keep me occupied. I just like I feel like it has just taken a back seat, and then suddenly it's been so long and I'm like, oh shit, I should probably like see if I can go on a date.
So is this date something that you're looking forward to, or you're like, oh
my God, no, I want to cancel. So
oh
badly.
my God,
I want to cancel.
You should. I mean, there's
might.
no way it's going to like turn out like it's the best date of your entire life. No. I feel like when you feel like this.
I don't know. It's so weird. I'm just like, I'm like, why am I?
Just like inner thoughts before a date. This happens to everyone though.
Yeah,
it does happen to everyone.
I don't want to go.
Well, maybe you should. Why? Yeah. Maybe you should invite him to the show tonight. By the way, guys, Luisa Lange on the Ted Jones Comedy Show tonight, as we are recording this episode.
Definitely not going to invite him to the show. Not because.
You don't want the first impression to be too good when you're killing it up there.
Yeah, I'm going to be too good. I don't want. But
at the same time, if a man feels demasculated, if that's the correct word here,
emasculated,
I feel like he's going to at some point eventually.
Yeah, it's like better. It's almost better to find out right away. Yeah. Well, that's my whole thing. Is like. I used to have it on my dating app, like there'd be a picture of me doing comedy, or I would. So
there's not a picture of you doing comedy.
No, I pretend that I'm like not. This is my. That's
weird, Luisa.
Is it? This is my new.
You're a star. What do you mean? Is it?
This is my new strategy that I'm trying, because I'm like, okay, take the pictures off. Just be like normal, like I'm an accountant, you know.
So
like,
is it just pictures of like you on the beach, you with the girls drinking?
Yeah, just like basic,
Pinot Gris,
which is just not who I am, and it's gonna attract all the wrong people. So it's just not the right.
You know what you're doing. It sounds like.
But I'm like, you
just want to get back into the mix.
Let me get back in the mix. Once I meet, I also think guys fear that like the immediate. What you immediately think of when you think of like female comedian is like Amy Schumer, who's like, oh, my pussy, this, that, da, 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 da. Like
1,000%.
That actually is not my sense of humor at all. I don't condemn it at all. It's just, I don't do any jokes. I don't do a lot of sex jokes.
Well, do you do like ex-boyfriend jokes though?
But yeah, I do that.
I feel like that's hard to avoid being
I've never thought
comedian.
about that being a thing.
I think sometimes like in the past, like when I've seen comedians and I've been like, oh, well, their boyfriend's in the crowd and they're talking like this. I've been like, whoa, that's a little bit weird.
It's but then like off-putting.
Yeah, and then once you get like more in love with the comedy and the game and whatever, you kind of just realize that everybody's going to kind of talk about some things that make your significant other feel uncomfortable.
Right. And it's
not like
not
we're
even
porn stars, you know?
Yeah, exactly. I could be a porn star. It's not like that, you know? I'm just talking on stage, but I do think it takes a while to find like the right person.
Totally. And I think going on this date after a year, it'll be like a good icebreaker.
Yeah.
You'll be like, okay, now I can go on more dates.
Exactly.
Because you get more back into the groove. I'm like not in the groove at all.
I have been so far out of it. And like that a year ago, that was probably the first one in a couple months. And I was good for a while going on, you know, like just whatever. Once you start doing them more, it's not as big of a deal. You're like, I'm just going to go get 2 drinks with this guy and then never see him again.
It feels a little bit distracting at first if you haven't been on a date like in a year.
But when it's so long, I'm like, oh my God, like I can perform in front of so many people and be fine, but I can't go and like sit across a table from some.
That's also guy. Another thing, like going to the gym 7 days a week, taking like your proteins, and then you meanwhile can't even go up to a girl in the street, whatever.
Yeah, what is that? Like, why?
I don't know. It's confidence like all over the place. People are like very confident in like a specific area.
In specific zones.
Yes.
Like I can really compartmentalize. Like if this guy was in the audience on stage, I could absolutely be totally
This is the point.
I'm like,
oh, what's your number, bro?
Yeah, I'm like, can we do our date while like you're in the audience and I'll just talk to you on stage? Watching. That would make me more comfortable.
Should we get a pizza, babe?
Yeah, literally, that would make me feel more comfortable. I'm like, do you want another drink? Like, but when it's one-on-one, I'm like, I don't know.
Do you feel like sometimes you've thought of it as like a distraction if you were to potentially go on a date, just because like you're like, oh, I could be out hanging at a comedy club. I could do this other set that I have.
Definitely. And also a distraction from like my life. Like I'm tired just in general. I'm a tired person. And when I have a night off from comedy, which is often, I'm acting like I'm like so booked. When I'm not doing comedy though, I want to be like with my friends, or I want to be like taking an edible and going to bed.
Let's
like,
go.
You know what I mean? I just feel like I don't want to go on a bad date and then waste a night doing that. But it's like eventually at some point I have to start doing it.
There's some times when I think I'm like, all right, do I really want to spend $100 here? Do I want to wake up hungover the next morning? Right. It's like it's a waiting game, whatever it is.
Yeah. It's just a waste of time most of the time.
Most of the time.
And I don't like want to waste my time.
Yeah, because most people like end up divorce or whatever it is. Where did you go to college?
Boston College.
Okay, so you spent a lot of time in Boston.
Yeah.
I saw you were at the Laugh Factory a few weeks ago, correct? In Boston?
I was at the Wilbur.
Okay.
So Wilbur Theater. And then I sometimes do comedy in Boston, but I started here. So I don't really know the scene in Boston that well. But whenever I do go there, it's fun because...
And you like headline places
high school,
in Boston
college,
too.
Yeah.
When did you move here?
I moved here in 2016.
And that was right after BC?
Yeah. So I graduated 2016, moved here. And I guess it's been like 6 years. 6 years.
And you basically are living alone. You have two roommates, but you told me they are never home.
And
they both have boyfriends, so you might feel pressure to get a boyfriend.
So, well, I'm also at the age where all of my good friends have serious relationships. And I'm like at the point, well, I actually like being single. I'm not like one of those girls who's like, I need a boyfriend to feel fucking valuable. Like I'm fine. I'm just going on a date for me to prove to myself that I can do it and just to like get back out there. But when it does suck is like, for example, one of my friends' weddings is in the fall, and I had to like book a hotel room by myself because everybody has their little like plus one. So I had to like pay extra to get like my own hotel room, which in the end is going to be like nice because I'll have my own room. But it's just, those are the times when I'm like, it would be
but it seems like the grass is almost always greener when you think that.
Yeah,
are you going to a lot of weddings though in the upcoming year since your friends are all together?
No, it's
with
slowly
others?
Starting. Like, how old are you?
I'm 30.
Okay, so I'm 28, and it's like slowly starting.
Yeah,
I have 2 this year,
too.
But I feel like actually 3 this year, and then like the engagements are fucking every time I open my phone, every time I open Instagram, I'm like, I need a trigger warning.
Are you traveling a lot for these?
Yeah, a little bit. A lot of it is traveling for bachelorette weekends.
Oh, yeah.
I'm like, stop inviting me to your bachelorette
One of my
weekends.
buddies is having his bachelor party in New Orleans this weekend.
That's where I have to go.
Okay, so they're leaving. My buddies who are going are leaving Thursday morning and coming back like late Sunday night. I was like, guys, that's
what I'm doing.
If I were to be drinking for 4 days, I wouldn't come back alive.
In New Orleans.
Yeah. I've never been.
I've never been either, but also the flights were $2 million. Like,
when were you supposed to go?
Expensive. July something.
So like July 4th.
Like in a couple weeks. No, like basically, but July, middle of July.
Apparently, like summer traveling this summer in particular is through the roof. All flights.
Because it's probably the first time people feel like
comfortable to actually travel everywhere.
Go. Yeah. So
and I don't think there are really restrictions anywhere besides that.
I don't think so. But yeah, so I have to spend a lot of money for that, which it will be really fun, and I'm glad that I'm going, but yeah, wedding stuff is ramping up.
It's stressful too, like having to travel 3 days, like you said, not having a +1, the flights, hotel, everything you're doing, bachelorette weekend, stuff like that.
Yeah,
it would be nice to like pass the load off halfway to your partner.
Yeah, I kind of am more in a place where I wish that more so like I don't really wish that I had a boyfriend. I wish that my friends who had boyfriends didn't. Do you know what I mean? Like, I'm kind of like...
Wait, even your roommates, though, too? Or you, because they get out of the house?
They're my 2 best friends. I'm like, where the fuck are you guys? That. Like, let's hang out.
BC girls. Yeah. Were you, like, in the same sorority as them in college?
BC doesn't have sororities, actually, which is partially why I liked it. But, like, it's really not religious at all.
It's not?
I think people who don't go there think that it is.
You know what? I think it's because a lot of the Jews just go to BU, and then it's like, that's the Jewish school, and then that's the Catholic school.
Well, like, it is technically a Catholic
BC
school.
Eagles!
Exactly, go Eagles. But... I never felt any religious presence there, really.
Interesting.
But yeah, no sororities, which I liked because I was just kind of like, don't tell me who to be friends with. Like, I don't want to have to wear like this. I don't know. I didn't like the whole like older girls telling me what to do.
What'd you major in?
Sociology.
Okay. Yeah. And did you use that at all?
I think I use it in general because it's just about like society and people, and it's like, you know, I loved like race and gender studies and stuff. And so I just think that like, yeah, it gives me like, I mean, you kind of use it every day.
I was almost a women's studies minor.
I wasn't. I was a French minor.
Those are some of the easier classes for me just because like the teachers loved me and like I just kept taking the same class with the same teacher. I was like, fuck, I almost got a minor. And also in class, I'd sit like this.
You almost got like an accidental minor.
Yeah, I literally sit like this. And the teacher one day was like, see, this is a confident man.
This is a gentleman.
Like I was like, if you don't sit like this, are you even sitting?
She's like, this is big dick energy right here.
I'd get up and just have like insane presentations about females and how much I respect them.
Did you
which I do.
Yeah, there you go.
And I did love it. I did.
Yeah,
for real.
I loved doing sociology was mainly like race and gender and like class studies.
Is it kind of like communication?
No, it's more like I mean, it is more like race and gender and studying like class and I don't know. It's like just studying society kind of. So not really communications. Communications is more media based.
Did you apply to other colleges to get out of Boston? Also because Boston College is a private school, so you didn't get in-state tuition, right?
Mm-mm. So my mom went to BC.
Oh, cool.
And always wanted me to go, and I was always like, "Fuck you!" Like I'm going to
Harvard.
California. Oh. No, I was like, I'm getting out of Massachusetts. Like fuck this.
Stanford.
I'm not going to BC. It's down the street basically.
Yeah.
I'm in this. My family's in the suburbs of Boston, so not actually like the city.
Where's BC again? Like Walnut something?
Chestnut Hill. Very close though. There is something. There is a Walnut Hill school, I think, but it's like a day school. Like I don't think you would have known it. But yeah, it's in Chestnut Hill. And my mom was like, all right, just go and like look at the campus for me. Just go and see it.
How close did you live to BC?
It's like 20 minutes away.
And you hadn't been there before that?
No. We were just not a BC family. Like all my friends who had parents and siblings who went there, they like went every year for football games and it was like the culture of their family. Like that's such a big thing at BC is having a whole family who went there. Like I was the only one who didn't have a sibling who went there. It's very like culty kind of. But I had never been, didn't want to go. And I went and saw the campus and I was like, oh my God, it's so nice. Like it is the most beautiful campus I've ever seen. And I don't know, I think that tour convinced me. I was like, oh, fine, somehow it then became my top school. I wanted to go to Georgetown, which is same vibes. So I got into BC early action and then I only applied to Georgetown.
When did you visit BC though? Like what season? Was it like spring or summer? Because I'm sure that may have affected you in some ways.
Yeah,
growing up in Boston especially, you probably
something about it felt like right though. Like it just felt, I don't know, I had visited a bunch of other schools and this just felt right. And I think that now it's not the right school for me who I am as a person now, but at the time it was the right thing. Like it is very homogenous and it's very like it's all white people that are the same. And I think that I wouldn't be thriving there now, but at the time it was fine for me and it was not what I needed, but it was comfortable.
Did you go to like a lot of sports events at BC?
Yeah, mostly football and hockey.
They had a pretty good basketball team. I don't know how they're doing now.
I don't know. I never went to basketball games. Mainly just we would like tailgate for football. I barely ever made it into the games.
So is it close to BU or not really?
Yeah, BC? It is. BU is right in the city. So it's right maybe like 10 minutes away.
So I visited BU and like one of the main reasons I didn't go is because I went in like the dead of winter and the wind tunnels were so bad.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I ended up going to UConn, which like the weather was really not that much better.
Same thing, basically.
But just going up to BU and I was like, it is ridiculously freezing.
And it's right in the city. Like BC has a really nice campus, so it doesn't feel like you're in Boston, but we would go out in Boston, but it doesn't, you have that like campus thing, which I really liked.
How have you adjusted from growing up in the suburbs to now just being in the city full time?
I really like the city. I didn't really need, like surprisingly, it wasn't a big culture shock for me. I liked it. I was just like, I like the craziness of it. Like the chaos.
And there are also a lot of people from BC who end up moving to the city.
That's another thing is I had a big network of people who came, like it's starting to dwindle a little bit in terms of who I was here with originally from BC. But I had like a big group of friends from college and then people from high school also were in New York just because where are you from?
I'm from here, New York.
Oh.
So I was born in New Brunswick, spent 6 weeks there, and then moved to Manhattan.
Okay.
And I've been here since
Best 6 weeks of your life.
Yeah.
There. Yeah. You're like, I will never forget it.
I'm going back.
Going back for sure. So I just adjusted because I had a lot of friends here and I felt like jumped into comedy and started to really get into that. And I don't know. I love New York.
Have you had the same roommates ever since you moved to the city?
No, I've moved a couple times and had different mixes of roommates.
But for the most part, like a lot of your close friends are still here?
Yeah.
Where have your other friends moved out to?
Mainly Boston, California, but a lot of Boston, honestly. We're mainly split.
What's going on in Boston?
I don't know.
Hot?
I don't know. I'm missing something, but a lot of it is because BC is very like people from Boston go there. It's a very like people from the suburbs of Boston
go to BC.
Go there. Yeah.
And not so much BU?
I don't really know that much about BU. I have a best friend who went there, but
a lot of kids from New York go to BU.
BU is just way bigger and it's way more international. Like it's city. Way more diverse. Mm-hmm. Yeah. BC is honestly kind of just like, it's just like all the same.
So when you moved to the city right after you graduated from BC, I mean, did you get involved in the comedy scene right away? Is that like what you wanted to do?
Yeah. I knew I wanted to do comedy in some like capacity. I didn't know that it was going to be stand-up, but I started off doing improv.
Let's go. You see the Herald sign right there? The Herald on my refrigerator?
Oh yeah.
Let's
do you
go.
Still
UCB.
Are you doing improv?
So I was doing UCB and I was supposed to potentially be on a Lloyd team. We were supposed to try out, and then March 15th, 2020 happened, and I was like, fuck, I need more stage time. So I started to do way more stand-up at that point.
Okay, so you were like heavily in improv. I feel like I see that for you. You have so much energy.
Thank you. I appreciate
you
that.
You give off like not in a bad way, but like improv vibes.
Thank you.
You're just a very like, your energy, you have a lot of energy. I was so bad at improv. I was like, I don't understand why I'm so bad at this. Like, I know I'm funny, but like, it's not translating here. I was just so bad. I like was not like wacky enough or like, I don't know. I was
it's tough sometimes,
not like,
because I feel like in improv, not a lot of the time, but there's a good amount of the time where you just have to act super normal and like in the scene, and then it all of a sudden becomes funny just because of how normal the scene is.
Yeah, like I didn't really get it.
Like one of your counterparts to say something ridiculous, and you're just like, what? Like I don't understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and I didn't like that I wasn't in control of anything. Yes. Like the person would come on and be like,
it's like a team sport.
Why? Yeah, exactly. And I don't really. I kind of just wanted to get on stage and do my own thing, I guess, but I tried stand up after doing a little bit of improv, and like the very first time I did stand up, I wouldn't say I was good, but it was immediately like, okay, this feels.
Did you do an open mic?
Right. Yeah.
And you just had like some material.
Yeah.
Ready to go?
I just like went up there and it just felt way more natural. And I just was like, okay, this is what I'm going to work towards. Not improv.
And then what was the point where you were like, okay, I want to start doing stand-up as much as I possibly can? It was just after that first open mic?
Kind of right away. I was like, I'm in New York City. I am only going to be like young in this, like in my 20s for so long. And I feel like that's the time to do it.
And you were single at the time also?
Yeah, been single since college.
Okay.
So, and just been like dating around and whatever, with no luck. But no long term.
Hey, there's always tonight.
No long term luck, but tonight, no pressure.
At the Ted Jones Comedy Show.
No pressure.
Imagine you find the love of your life.
Yeah, that's so true. And I cancel my date because I met someone at your show.
Oh my!
Like, I'm sorry, but
that just gave me chills. I'm not gonna lie. I'm not gonna freaking lie.
We'll see. I mean, updates to come.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I was single. I was just like, you know what? I'm in New York. I am gonna put a lot into this right now, and if it doesn't go anywhere, then like I'll fucking quit and whatever.
So would you say that opening for Nikki Glazer, that was in Boston, the show you were talking about,
yes.
Wilbur, that was like the highlight so far of your career?
Everything, all my highlights involve Nikki Glazer. Every time she like helps me out, I'm like, that's my new highlight.
You guys
like,
are good friends?
Yeah, I mean, she's been so good to me, and she's the best person I've ever met. And like, it's so funny at her, when I was headlining for her, I do have other credits, but they were like, oh, what's your credit? Like, what do you want us to say? And I was like, legit, like, this is my biggest credit. So just be like, Luisa Lange, she's here. Like, you've seen her right now.
You see her in a couple seconds.
Yeah, you haven't seen her yet, but you're about to, and that's cool. She thinks that's cool. But yeah, that was opening for her at the Wilbur Theater in Boston has been the highlight for me.
Love that. And then also you were on Impractical Jokers a couple months ago. So it's been a great couple months for you.
Yeah, it's been really randomly a good couple months.
Amazing. What do you see yourself as going forward? Like, what do you look to do? Just like headlining, traveling more?
A little both. Yeah. I want to start doing longer sets more often.
So you did an hour at Caroline's in January of 2020.
2020. Yes.
How similar is your set now, would you say?
Like 50% similar. It's like a lot more COVID stuff now, just because a lot of what I was saying before was, first of all, I felt like that show was a culmination of my first like 4 years of comedy. Like,
who opened for you and like how did you organize that show?
It's funny, I had like, you know how people usually will get openers that like aren't as good as them? I was like, I want my friends that are so fucking funny. I had Usama and
Love that.
Jeff Arcuri.
Okay.
So I was just like, I don't know. I was like, I want everybody that's coming out to see me, they're going to enjoy my set just because they're my friends and whatever, but I also want them to have a really good show. So I was like, I'm going to book like the best comics I know and, you know, my friends that are so good.
That's also sometimes like how a man potentially wouldn't think. You know, they don't want to be, as we said at the beginning of the episode, emasculated by something like that.
They're like, I'll just get some fucking open micer and then I'll look really good after that. But I just was like, I don't know. I want
the energy to be right.
To be I want the energy to be, I want them to set up the room the right way. And I also feel like when you're around people who are better than you, you just like have to level up, you know? Yeah.
So how did you get that gig pretty early on? It sounds like. Well, I guess it was maybe like 3.5 years in.
Yeah, it was like 4 years in, I think. 4 years in.
And did you reach out to them to do an hour?
I honestly don't remember. It's their it's like their
the showcase, talent showcase.
Yeah, what is it called? It's called like not new talent, but it's like breakout artist series.
Yes.
It's their breakout artist series. So I might have emailed them and asked about it, and then they had me submit a bunch of stuff.
But you told them that you were cool with an hour?
I told them I was cool.
Ready to go.
That's what I thought you were going to say. But you told them
they were cool. So you're like, here, I have these stand-up pictures, but I don't put them on my dating profile. Like, just here's me with a Pinot Gris.
I'm like, I promise, I'm so cool.
I'm chill. Just talk to me.
Here's me on a boat. Yeah. But yeah, I just was like, they were like, you can do up to an hour. So I think I did like 50, but we'll call it an hour.
And are you going to do an hour again soon?
I hope so. Hopefully a half hour.
Hour.
I don't know if I have an hour of brand new stuff that I care about.
Let me tell you also, it just feels like it's becoming tougher to watch an hour of stand-up undistracted. Okay. Yeah. Like even with these, so Giulio Gallerati, who's been a guest on the pod, he just did Pete Davidson and Best Friends on Netflix. I
didn't watch it yet, but
he killed it. You should watch it.
How long was his set?
He did about 15 minutes and they cut it down to like 11. I think that's what they did for all the comics on it.
Yeah. I mean, that's
that's something that you can fully pay attention to. You're not scrolling through TikTok, Instagram. No. The whole thing, there was like 5 comics and all of them total did an hour.
Also,
so it was like a comedy show.
The comic, he can go on and be like, I'm going to do 11 minutes of like really fucking good material.
Yes.
So yeah, I just feel like, no, I don't have any desire to do an hour anytime soon because I just don't feel like, I feel like when I did my hour, I was also throwing in some stuff that was like half baked. Okay. It was funny, but it wasn't like so tight and so good. You know what I mean?
Where would you release it now if you were to do an hour? I mean, ideally you probably want to be on like a Hulu, Netflix, Amazon Prime, but would you release it on YouTube?
Yeah, probably YouTube. I mean, whatever options I had, like I think YouTube is nice because you don't need anyone's permission, right? To do anything, you just fucking upload it and that's that.
And then all the money that would come in would just go straight to you, straight to your account.
Yeah, so I think that would be cool. But I don't know. I don't know what I see for me in the future. I'm still trying to figure out this whole thing. Like, how does one make it in comedy and like make it their sole income and everything like that? So
you're on your way.
I hope so. I'm just doing, I'm just getting up as much as I can and,
How did you meet Nikki Glaser?
Back in like 2018 or 19. It was like pre-COVID. I think of like, I'm like, I don't know. Pre-COVID was just like one time period.
Like AD,
and now it's
BC.
It's literally, exactly. So pre-COVID, PC, one of my tweets went viral. It was so stupid. I don't even remember what it was, but
oh, come on, you gotta remember what it was.
I do remember what it was. It was like this. It was like when you go to like an arcade and there's like a claw and it's like you get the toy.
And you rarely pick it up.
And you rarely get it.
Sure.
It was like this video of some woman. She was like a human claw, and it was like lowering her into this tub of like. This sounds
those square balls that you have in like the gymnastics pit.
No, but imagine that, but it's bags of chips and like food and everything. Like she just grabs as much as she can and it lifts her back out. And I just was like, oh, me leaving CVS on my period. Like it was like not that funny, but the video is what made it funny because this girl was straight up just like grab everything and then she gets like airlifted out and I just like whatever. So that was the tweet. She saw that. Reposted it on her Instagram, found me through. This is why I like her so much because she did not have to do any of this. Like she found me on Instagram. She tagged me. She reposted it. She was like, messaged me being like, this is so funny. And I was like, what's happening? I was like, are you like talking to me? What is going on here? And then ever since then, we were just like Instagram friends for a while, and she would repost my stuff. I did one video of me like dancing to a voicemail from my psychiatrist asking about like what medications need to be refilled or whatever, and she like reposted that one. And then eventually I like went on her show, her Sirius XM show. And then
is that the one she does with Andrew
Collin? Yeah, but this is not her current one. This is like before, when she lived in New York, she had a Sirius XM show. So I went on that, and then we just like, you know, continued to be friends, and the rest is history.
And making your rounds in the comedy scene, which place is your favorite club right now?
I'm really liking New York Comedy Club right now.
Okay.
I'm just like, it's, you know what I like about it? It's really dark. Room. It's really dark.
It is dark.
People feel anonymous in that room. Like, I think it's so important. Having run shows in different places and done shows, I mean, I'm sure you feel the same way. Like, you kind of realize what the audience needs, and they kind of need anonymity. Like, I think people don't, like the Stand upstairs room, it's a little light. Like, people, you can see each other. They can all see each other. And I feel like they feel embarrassed to laugh, kind of. You know what I mean? Like, I think at New York Comedy Club, or I like Old Man Hustle. It's pretty dark there. I think people are more likely to laugh at things because they don't feel like someone's going to be like, that person laughed at that. Like, what an asshole. You know, like if I say something, do you know what I mean?
No,
like,
I do.
I think people feel like they're able to let loose a little more when
you had your show. What was it, at a candy store?
No, it's not actually a candy store.
Oh, it's just called that.
So Pete's Candy Store. It's just like a little tiny stage room. I'm not doing it there anymore because I was running it by myself, producing it by myself, and I just like needed a minute because it's a lot. But I was doing like, I did Stand Up New York pre-COVID. I had a show there.
So I did a show there last night. And
that was where I used to run my show.
So the spotlight's like right in your face and you can't see the crowd.
Which is kind of nice.
But like I don't think they realize.
Like that.
I don't think they realize that like you can't see anything when you're up there.
I actually don't like when you can't see the crowd. I like when you can see the crowd, but they can't really see each other.
It's like
that's
a one-way
like
mirror.
Ideal, because then it's like they're not going to feel judged if they laugh at something that's a little like touchy.
Like,
not that I'm like an edgy comic at
right.
all. I don't say anything that's like edgy, but I just think I've been really enjoying New York Comedy Club.
Interesting thought.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And then so I was running a show at Time Out Market, and that was like too light, and everybody was like, it just wasn't a good venue. And then Pete's Candy Store is great because it's like, it's dark, it's small, and like it's a good, you know.
Are you going to get back to doing it?
Yeah, it just depends. I need a minute to summer is hard also because I'm away. I go back and forth between Boston and here a lot.
How do you get there, by the way? Bus? The Tsinghua bus?
Or,
yeah, the Fenghua? It's like
$10.
The
Fenghua breaks down every time, apparently. So I don't
take that spirit of the bus line.
Yeah, it's like part of the experience.
It's literally though like $5.99, right?
I think
it's
so.
a gallon of gas.
You're like, I'm gonna pay $5.99 and have like an amazing full day. No, you're gonna have like a break. Your bus is gonna break down. You're gonna meet some people, like bonding.
For the experience.
So I don't do that. I take the not the mega bus. I take the Go bus a lot. But I just got a dog recently, and you can't take dogs on it, so I've been taking the train.
Okay. The Acela or whatever?
Yeah, like the Amtrak. Or my sister sometimes lets me borrow her car here for a little bit, so I'll drive it back and forth, and I can just park in Brooklyn near where I live.
So when I went to Yukon, which is like 3/4 of the way to Boston, I used to take the Peter Pan bus. You ever take the Peter Pan bus?
Yes, I took, especially my first couple of years in New York, I was taking any like $2 bus. Like I was on a
crazy
bus
how
where
the mega bus was like
were,
$1.
Yeah, people were like vomiting in the aisles, just like I took some like janky buses. But it was so cheap, and I was able to just get home.
Yeah, so. It's crazy. I mean, the buses.
No complaints. Like, I'm not above
the buses
a bus.
Everywhere seem to be like really cheap. Like you can take a cross country bus, I think definitely less than a flight, like $200.
Yeah, and I'm like not above taking a bus.
You don't mind it?
No, I really don't.
Sometimes I'll just like I don't want to say blood clot,
headphones,
but like my legs will just get so tense. And even like when I'm driving too, if I'm like this, like my shoulders would tense up. And I go to the gym a lot. I'm like, why are my shoulders tensing up?
Yeah. You're like driving like this.
Literally,
well, at
like
least you can pull over when you're driving.
That's true. Use the restroom for a moment.
Yeah.
So you drive home by yourself?
Yeah. Yeah. What'd you say?
You drive home by yourself, or you go home with like friends?
It depends. Usually by myself with my dog in the passenger seat.
When's the last time you went home?
Like 2 weeks ago, maybe.
So how often are you going
I was home. I was supposed to come on your on your podcast like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
But I couldn't because I was sick because I had my 6 year.
Oh yeah. Oh my gosh. How you feeling?
I'm fine now, but I had my 5 year, but actually 6 year college reunion. And it like knocked me the fuck out, and I got a fever and I was like sick for a week, and it wasn't COVID. I kept testing, and I even went to like an urgent care to get like a legit test, and it was not COVID, but I haven't had a fever in so long, and it just, it really knocked me out, on top of being like wildly hungover. Just like, we stayed in the dorms. It was just like,
my sister had her 5 year reunion at Colgate last week. She stayed in the dorm. She was like, it is the gross. I cannot even
so
like,
gross.
believe I spent time.
I slept on a prison
AC,
mattress. I don't know. There actually was AC, but I was like too drunk to even notice. Like, I don't even think I would have known, but we slept on these like prison mattresses in our old senior year dorm, and it just like, it was so much fun, but it really, I really don't bounce back the way that I used to, but that's the last time I was home.
Do you drink a lot?
Not really, but when I do, sometimes like when it's like a really big event and I'm so excited, then I do.
Totally.
Like all
or
my
if you're
college.
like, this is going to be worth it tonight to drink.
Yeah, exactly.
We're drinking tonight.
I'm not the kind of, I would never, I
have
don't
a
really.
glass at like dinner.
No,
Never.
I don't really do that. I only drink when I'm trying to like drink.
Yeah, trying to turn it.
When I'm trying to turn up, which is also not a good thing. Like, I'm like, I only drink when it's to binge drink. Other
Me
than
too.
that.
I'm like, if I'm drinking, I'm having 4+.
Yeah,
We're
exactly.
talking, at
Otherwise,
least.
I'm just like, what's the point?
You were talking about edibles. You smoke weed?
Yeah. I would rather smoke weed than drink, for sure.
Me too. And I'd also rather my child do that. If my child came up to me and was like, I'm going to a party tonight, would you rather me have 4 drinks or smoke 1 joint? Assuming they're not driving afterwards, we're cool with smoking the joint.
Right.
When did you sign your lease with your 2 roommates now?
September.
At a good time?
Yeah, September.
So that's a pretty solid time.
This past.
Are they going to be raising the rent a lot this September?
Only
Have you heard?
$90.
For the whole apartment?
Yeah.
Nice landlord.
Not bad at
Yeah,
all.
not bad at all. They must want to keep you. You must be good tenants.
I guess so.
Do you make a lot of noise in the apartment or not really?
Not really.
Because it's just you.
It's just, what am I doing? I'm not
Yeah,
screaming
or maybe
by myself.
if your roommates were home with their boyfriends, then you're talking.
But they're not.
Right.
Yeah, like their landlords might be not too happy. But no, we haven't had too many like pre-games or parties or anything. I feel like we're usually out other places. But I mean, it's a great building. I love it. Do you know Mark Gagnon by any chance? He's a comedian. He lives in my building.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he works for Andrew Schultz. He works on his podcast. And we like were neighbor friends. Like we knew each other just from like, oh, like your package is in the hallway. And then we were booked on the same show at New York Comedy Club. And I was like, what the fuck?
That's so funny. He was like, we should take the train home together.
He's like, you're a comic? And I was like, you're a comic? And then I found out he's like works for Andrew Schultz on his podcast.
Is he one of the guys who sits on the couch?
Yes.
Is he the guy with the long hair? Oh,
yes.
that guy. I was watching the clips of him the other day, and he has a laptop.
Yeah, he lives in my building. It's
hilarious.
I know. And we were like friends. And then I saw the flyer and I was like, I was like, the name matches and the face matches. It's definitely my neighbor.
And
so
the hair matches.
And the hair, everything
Most
matched.
important part.
So most important part. So yeah, I mean, I love my building.
What do your roommates do? If you don't mind me asking about them.
One is a nurse, and she is never home because nursing and boyfriend. Man.
So she's working like 12-hour shifts?
Oh yeah, she works like insane shifts.
Good for her.
I'm like, do you have another apartment? Like, where do you go? And she's just like, work. So that sucks. But
so, is she going to be moving into his apartment? Like when September comes around, are you all 3 signing the lease for sure?
2 of us are re-signing.
And you're looking for a third?
Well, we actually have a third. That's like 90% locked in. But yeah, one is moving in with boyfriend.
Nice. Do they like ever have any pressure like to spend more time in the apartment, or they're cool being away from the apartment? Just because sometimes I'm like, all right, here in this apartment, I obviously spend rent. I'm going to spend some time in this apartment to get my,
I definitely get my rent's worth. Like I work from there. I am like, I'm there all the time. It's like, because I'm working during the day from 9 to 5, so I can't like be out, but I'm there a lot.
You're not like a coffee shop person to go work?
No. I like to be just like in my own
zoned
house.
in. Like I'll wake up, get a coffee, and then come back here.
Yeah. And I love working from home. I like do not need to go back to the office ever. It's so nice. I like start my day at 11.
Love it.
I'm here right now.
Were you doing Zoom shows over the pandemic?
I did one, and then I was like, no, I'd rather die.
It's like, crazy. I've talked to so many comics, and they all hate it. I never did one, but it was nuts. I mean, I did the podcast. Like,
I did that too. I saw Sam Morrill tweeted saying, I'm trying heroin before I do another Zoom show. And I was like, that is so how I feel.
Well, heroin apparently is the best thing you can do in this life.
Wait, yeah, I know. I've heard.
I had an ex-heroin addict, Derek Drescher, shout him out by 23 and 1 comedy show. Yeah, I was like, dude, can you describe heroin? He was like, it's the best thing in the entire world.
Oh my God, that's so scary.
It is crazy.
That's scary.
Because like to hear that and then not connecting it to, oh, I want to try that is hard.
Yeah.
Because if somebody's like, oh, this is a great strain of weed, I'm like, all right, pass it. I want to smoke that.
But you know it's not going to like ruin your life.
Yeah. So it had to have been tough for like the people in the old days, like first discovering heroin. Because people discover, they're like, oh, you can't smoke this poison ivy. Oh, my throat hurts. Oh, you can smoke this weed the first time. Oh, I didn't get high.
Yeah.
The second time,
I always wonder like how that happened.
Yeah.
Who was the first person to be like, let's just try it?
The first guy like
were they that bored?
Didn't get high, and he was like, you know what? Let's try
one more time. Yeah, let's run it back. Let's go.
But like heroin, as soon as you do it, it's just straight to the freaking veins.
Yeah.
I never had like serious drug problems. I had like a ketamine phase.
Okay.
Where I would like do that a lot.
Okay. I just smoked a lot of weed.
Yeah. I
don't smoke as much as I used to. I used to smoke like every night. I never do it before going on stage.
Me too.
I did it once and I was like, why is everybody looking at me?
So like I have a 3-hour limit before the podcast, and then usually like 5 hours before the show. Or if somebody comes on the podcast and they want to smoke, I will. But besides that, like I'll just get too clouded and I'm not like quick.
I just am not there. I think that's why I've been smoking less in general, because I'm getting booked a little more than I was on like more important stuff.
Yes.
So I'm just not smoking as much, but I did it once before like an open mic years ago, and I got on stage and I just was like, why are you guys looking at me? Like, what's going on? They're like, you're on stage, bitch. Like, what's going on?
Do your roommates smoke?
Yeah, they both do.
Are you
very
guys
chill?
Are you guys? I can tell.
Chill.
Are you guys into the dispensaries now that they're open all over the place?
You know what? I was trying to do like a bit on this recently, and like it's not.
Or you don't have to spoil it.
No, it's okay. I don't care. I don't. Whatever. It's not anything yet. It's not worked into a joke at all. But it's a thought I had recently. I love the dispensaries because it's easy, but I also kind of miss like the sketchiness of getting weed from like a dealer. Like in high school,
cheaper.
like getting in like the back of some kid's car and just being like, just like the sketchy transaction of it. I kind of miss that.
It was such high stakes though.
But it made it kind of fun.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I think our parents at that particular time were way more so against weed, obviously, than they are now. But like still, even when I smoke, my mom was like, stop, why are you smoking pot? Sounds like pot in my house.
Yeah, even now, my parents don't like that they don't like to know about me smoking weed.
Yeah, and then meanwhile, she's drinking a glass of the wine at the table every night. Yeah. I feel like it's kind of the same thing.
It's so stupid. But yeah, I mean, I'm glad that the dispensaries make it so much easier, especially to get edibles. Like in college, we used to like make weed butter and then like is a generous term. I didn't do it. My friends would make like weed butter and then make cakes and stuff.
It's tough because you never know the dosage and you can get insanely
and it's just so
high.
like industrious. Like, damn, we were making our own butter. Like what? Now you can just go to like basically a bodega and get edibles.
Is that what you're doing?
Yeah, pretty much.
And
not a bodega, but like dispensaries.
And you're able to, you find that like the gauge that they put on the actual thing that you're eating is right, like 50 milligrams and stuff like that.
It feels pretty accurate, yeah. Do you not think that?
Well, I don't know. I think in California, yes, I do think that. Like when I was looking for gummies or whatever, like I had 30 and I was some of the highest I've ever been. And I was like, 30 milligrams? Are you kidding? Like
30?
It was just nothing. It seems like nothing. But like
eat 30?
Yeah.
That's a lot for me.
Okay.
I would do like 10.
10 milligrams?
Yeah, maybe.
So Mike Cannon, who I'm sure you're familiar with, he did a show on 420.
Wait, didn't he do like Mike Takes Edibles?
Yeah, well, that's like a series, I think.
Yeah, okay.
But he took 100 milligrams and like did an hour set on at New York Comedy Club.
That's
so
hilarious.
I was like, when I was watching, I was like, there's no way. Like I take 30. I've never been so high in my life. So like, I don't want to say that it wasn't 100 milligrams that he took,
100
but
would kill me.
Yeah,
I think I would die.
Because also people sometimes will say like, oh, like I've taken 4,000 milligrams in a day before. Like, no, you haven't. Maybe you've made it and you thought it was 4,000, but like for a person to have 100 milligrams in one sitting, I just think it's almost impossible, if not impossible.
That feels crazy. Yeah, I do like 10. and it fucks me up.
Yeah, like those gummies that I've had, like the medical gummies come in like a little medical grade container. Like if I take 2 of those, 20, like I am good. Like I need a nap.
Yeah,
for sure. In the latter part of the day.
Yeah, I think I've also just started doing more gummies the older I get and not smoking as much.
Interesting.
But I do miss smoking a bowl. I used to like smoke a bowl every night.
Okay,
that was my number one.
See those things over there? I
method.
use cones back over there.
Oh wait, I see a bong.
No, I haven't used that in so long. Right next to it, to the left. I have like those raw cones. I just scoop. I've never been good at rolling joints.
Me neither. I can't do it.
Yeah.
I can't do it. Those are nice because you just
scoop it. It's super quick.
Yeah, you just.
Yeah. So you smoke weed to go to sleep or just to chill? To chill.
You are chill mainly. I mean, yeah. I'm so if you couldn't tell, I'm so fucking chill. Yeah, I just like. I think I can access another part of my brain with it that I can't. I don't take it to sleep. I think that's a waste of. I think that's a waste of a good high. I like to like. I don't know. I feel like it helps me. It accesses a part of my brain I can't get to otherwise. That just makes things connect. And like, I know that sounds like such a high thought, but I'm not high right now. But I don't know. I like to write on it and come up with ideas. And by write, I mean like write stuff in my phone. And then later I'll go and do like a formal go through it and be like, that's trash. What was that, you know?
So do you think you're comfortable with an hour on stage now? If you were to go up and do an hour?
No, I would have to.
You want to do 30?
Yeah, I would have to. If I were going to do an hour, I would have to like really dig through my old stuff. Because right now I have maybe a good solid, like when I get booked on a show, I'm rotating through probably a good like 20 minutes that I switch up and move around. If that, maybe even less. But I mean, I've done an hour before. I just stopped doing a lot of that material because it just felt like it was irrelevant and I was ready to let it go.
How do you mean it was irrelevant though?
It was just like jokes that I think I want to like come back to later and write them better, or they're just about relationships that I don't feel like talking about anymore, or like things that don't like. I just think I'm a different person than I was 4 years ago when I wrote certain jokes, and it just like they're still funny, but they're just not. I don't feel like the same telling them.
I also feel like sometimes I'll just be like, all right, that joke is done. Like I've used that joke so many times.
Like I just feel like I retired certain things and just been like, okay, that I got a good run out of that and I'm ready to be done with it.
But are you still using some of the stuff from your Caroline set 2020 of January?
No, not really. Maybe like some of it has been repurposed a little bit and made better, but I don't even remember what jokes I did in that. I know it's crazy, but I guess, I mean, I think some of it I've kept and changed it a little bit and like made it better.
And in making it better, do you think you're still like trying to get more out of those jokes?
Yeah, I think like adding on to it, or I mean, during COVID, I wasn't doing Zoom shows, like I said, so I wasn't really doing any comedy. So I like took a really nice kind of needed break. It was too long of a break and I didn't need it to go on for so long, but it was kind of nice to step away from it for a minute and just like put everything away and now sort of come back to it. And I should go through my old stuff and see what things I've forgotten about and can bring back in a new way.
Was there a point where the pandemic had to slow down and you felt like, all right, now I'm getting back into it? Was there like a certain show? Since you weren't doing Zoom shows and stuff?
When everyone started to do shows outside and like Tiny Cupboard Rooftop was like popping off, that was kind of a turning point. Like the fall of 2021, I guess it would be, or 2020? I don't know. It was like that November. Yeah. 2020, I think. I don't know. But months,
2020, I don't know. One of the dates.
Sometime I felt like I was getting back into it and like doing more outdoor shows because it was nice out and I was back to like, at that point I was like, any audience is a good audience because I was so used to just doing nothing. So that was kind of when I started to feel better about it. And then it's like slowly getting back to.
So if there's one thing that the viewers and listeners should know about you that we haven't already talked about, What can you let them know?
It's that I'm chill. No, I'm kidding.
We know that.
Wait, one thing they should know about me?
We definitely got deep into your life history, but if there's anything that we missed out on.
No.
What does the future look like?
The future? Oh, that's a scary question. I want to just make people laugh in some capacity. Hopefully touring, hopefully doing longer sets, maybe writing for TV. So if anyone's looking to hire me, I'm here.
Shout out the gram.
Yeah. Oh yeah. My Instagram's at Luisa Lange, and then all my other social is connected through that. So.
All right,
yeah,
amazing.
So find me there.
Louisa, thank you so much for coming on Ted Jones World Podcast, and we'll see you tonight at the Ted Jones Comedy Show.
I'll be looking for my soulmate there.
Absolutely, guys. Follow Louisa, and we'll see you guys next time. Peace.